would like to call President of APPIC, Dr. Ashfaq Shuaib. He's Professor of Neurology and Director of Stroke Program at University of Alberta. He has published over 400 articles in peer-reviewed journals. Sorry, I changed it. It's 600 now.
So, Assalamu alaikum. It's so nice. One of the things that this distinguished young man who's about to sit in his chair said to me, you know, you'll probably have 10 people, maybe 15. I said, no, that's not going to happen. So thank you very much, everyone. Welcome to this lovely city that was sunny until 2 days ago. And I wanted to start off with some really good news here. See, this is my first slide, and I wanted to let you know that we have a website, and there's a person who sitting in the back. Her name is APPIC. She works in our clinic, and she helped us design our website. We have only been around for 10 months now, or 9 months. And there's our registrants, 361, and we've broken it down by provinces. And I wouldn't talk about Alberta, but others are doing well too. So thank you, all of you. We really appreciate. These are the numbers. We've got to work in Quebec, and we've got to work in our maritime provinces. It's just been amazing that in less than a year, we've got more than 350 members here. And to give you a flavor of what we have here in our meeting today, it's kind of a moving target. I have some really good friends, and I won't name them right now, who knew that we were going to stop. A hard stop for the meeting was the 16th of August. But guess what, After that, could you get me in also? It's a Pakistani flavor, right? It's nice. But alhamdulillah, we managed to get all of them who wanted to come to the gala dinner tonight. Please, all of you, attend that. And our cruise that was Harris. Harris, that was wonderful. So thank you very much. It was a lovely way to get us all together and have a nice time. So here are the numbers. More than 200 people on our cruise. We've got 150 plus and increasing there. To add 2 tables, Harris, right? From your efforts. So it's wonderful. Here's my summary of my presentation. I wanted to first start off with, why have APPIC? And I'll give you a quick overview in a slide, then give you at least some idea of that we are not working in a vacuum here. There's other organizations, there are other expatriates who've created their organizations, and they have the same issues that we have. Why have an organization in Canada when you have a bigger organization in the US? All of them are in a very similar position as many of us are, and we struggle with those things. So I thought I'll give you a flavor of what are the other organizations, how long have they been around, and then zoom in more into APPIC itself. What has happened so far, and who's all of us who work together to get to this stage. And then I'll end off by what's next. And I just remember one of my last slide is about something that's very important to us. And we sometimes, we live in our little comfort zones, but there are things that are outside that can affect us in a very, very big way. So I'll show you something that my dear friend and younger brother, Omar Farouk, shared with me, which was about a private member's bill that was pulled out, but it could have happened. And I'll end there so that you know why these organizations are important. So first of all, I've been here too long. I've been in Canada for 43 years now. So when I first started in Calgary, there were 3 other physicians in Calgary from Pakistan. One I knew in Edmonton. And most of you would know that our numbers have increased, and they've really significantly increased in the last 10 years, and they will increase in the coming years if we are smart. If we can play it right, most of you are family doctors who know that there's 1 in 3 individuals who do not have a family doctor. There are pathways that we can take to our advantage. We as a community can work together with our provincial governments and our national leadership to one day, and so we already have 2 programs in Pakistan which are accredited, and you can have these people come into positions in family medicines and elsewhere, provided you meet some of those criterions. So we have an opportunity to increase our numbers further. There are individuals in Edmonton. Part of what we do is working at the university. You always have students who want to work with you, and can I spend my summer with you? So Ahmed Kamal, whose mom's here, is a bachelor student who spent this summer through. I mean, these youngsters, they're amazing. They just. The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta does not give you your country where you came from, but it posts your medical college that you came from. And so they went through the whole list and found out that there were, to our surprise, 571 physicians who were registered and practicing in Alberta who were from Pakistan. We estimate there's probably 150 or more Pakistani physicians who are in Alberta who are looking for positions or are physician assistants. I mean, there's so much out there of Pakistani wealth that we can share with our community here. And I'm sure that you'll all reflect and think, well, there's quite a few of them in Saskatchewan or Manitoba or Ontario, and certainly in BC, when we opened up our registration through generous donations of a few of our friends, we opened it up to those physicians who were not practicing, free registration. And I think in 2 hours, Harris, you would know, in 2 hours, those 15 positions were filled up right away. So there are people here who want to join us. And then we had to open up a few more positions. So it is great to see that there are so many individuals whom we can certainly bring into our, our fraternity of individuals from Pakistan. So, which kind of brings me to this question of, do we have an organization? And I'll come to APNA, believe me, I'll come to that, and we'll talk about that. But a Canada-specific organization working with provinces in Canada, working with the Council Journal in Islamabad to see if we can triage the way APNA has done in the US does not exist. It's not there right now. So I put this statement together, and I don't need to go over it. You can just read it, that, to work, the time has come that we have an independent organization which advocates for us, which supports our community, and which, gets us all together like this, and learn from other organizations and do things in our own way. Our way may be a little different from other organizations, but we're the first ones here, right? So we can build it up together. So, as I said, we are not working in a vacuum here. What about other organizations? So we start from organizations around us in our geography from Pakistan. You wouldn't be surprised that the ones who've done the best and have been together for quite a long time are from India. They have their organization, which is, I put their name for you there. They started in 1993, and what I've done for you is I put in bold a few things in here. If you look at it, their lifetime membership is 160, and their full-time members, they're in the 400 to 500. I'm just putting that in perspective, that our 360 is a good number in less than 10 months. and their objectives are somewhat similar to ours. If you read that, we organize educational seminars, we talk about social and cultural events, and they have regular meetings. The next one I wanted to show you was someone who's similar to us, who are from Bangladesh. They started just 2 years ago, and they've been very active. And so you can see their milestones. They're having regular meetings. They work across the country, and they're also trying to build their organization. Incidentally, all of them. So AINA, for example, is much bigger than APNA. So AINA is the Indian organization in the US. So it's not as if we are creating something very different. This Canada, being an independent country, needs an organization like the Indians have, like the Bangladeshis have. Here is what the Iranians have. I said it's very impressive. For a small community, what I tried to do for you was they have a specialty directory. And being a neurologist, I picked up neurology. So on your extreme right there is neurology. And I then picked up the first person who's a really good friend of ours, Ashkan, who's in Hamilton. And I put his credentials right in that blue box at the bottom there. So it tells you who we are, where we are, what we are doing. And a smaller community like the Iranians did this very well, right? And here's the organizations that come in from Sudan, which small country. They've been around for 20 years now. They're having regular meetings. This is not Sudan. Sorry, this is Sudan, right? Yeah. So fully functional, and the ones that I was particularly impressed with are these individuals from Sri Lanka. I mean, this is a check they gave for $60,000 in a fundraiser for a walk that they did back to the community. So there are quite a few of them around, and here's from Nigeria. I mean, I remember I was sitting in one of our friends' homes, and there was one Nigerian doctor who was in Alberta, in Edmonton. They were having their Zoom calls. There's about 30 of them, and they have an organization. Another important one that we need to work together very closely with, because they do a fantastic job, and Zayed, sorry, I'm not picking on you, Zayed Sardar, who's here, introduced me to them, which is the Muslim Medicals Association of Canada. There's a very large representation of Pakistanis in there also, and they're doing a wonderful job. So the purpose for me was to just introduce you to the fact that if someone says, why another organization? Zulfikar's comments were very nice, Dr. Bhutta, Professor Bhutta. Why not? That's what you said, didn't you? So why not? I want to thank my dear friend Hanif. He's here. Hanif has put out some awards also. Thank you, Hanif. Membership. At our task force, at the planning, we've had lots of discussions about it as to what should be an annual fee. And many of us felt quite strongly that doctors तो थोड़े से गरीब लोग हैं, उनके पास पैसा नहीं है. Barbara, I can speak Urdu. We thought about 150 a year would be a reasonable amount. And if we can get people to register today, it'll give us some breathing space so we can hire a part-time person who can help us. I mean, we've got these very senior physicians who take the minutes, they do all the individuals who put in the $500 or $1,000, they were donations, so they've been given 5 years membership. So if you want to get $500, then it's a deal. Okay, I got to quit very soon. So these are our long-term goals. We want to expand ourselves. We are going to talk about these things in detail in our breakout sessions, and I've listed those for you. We've got to get our youth involved. It's very, very, if we can get a group set together today of young individuals, medical students in the residencies, all of these people to see if they can help us. They're very smart. I mean, they will move us in the right direction. There's no nonsense in there. I know many of you have got children who are either in medical schools or in residencies. And we're going to work with these other organizations, right? We're going to work with them. I wanted to make sure that many of you have brought it to our attention in our WhatsApp. Asfa, you're a very good example of people telling us again and again, be transparent, be clear about, be democratic. We want to do those things, and we can do it all of us together, right? And we have to be respectful. I mean, I think we've had little bumps once in a while, but alhamdulillah, people came together and cleared them. I personally don't want to be ever in a position where we have to ask a person to leave. I think it's a collective failure whenever we do that. So here is my kind of summary slide. Before I just have one more slide, if you'll allow me. Is we are just starting. We have to engage all our friends out there to bring more membership, and we have to work with all our other organizations. We're a team. We work together. And I also want to say that today we will explain a little more detail that in the breakout sessions, we want to have these groups that talk about our structure, how to expand our base, advocacy, and how to bring our youth in, and our plans for our annual general body meeting, because we need to make sure that we're on the right track where we've got an elected membership. I wanted to thank a lot of you, especially all of you who are in the room at 8 o'clock sharp. Sorry, Dr. Butta, I have to remind them again. This is just wonderful. I've been to more than 30 UPNA meetings, and you'll have 3 people sitting. 2 of them would be speakers, and the other one would be the AV person. So this is great. The planning committee, thank you. Our finance committee, wonderful job you've done. The expenses start coming in here, $40,000 here, $20,000 there, and you're saying, how are we going to do this? So thank you for helping us out. The local organizing committee, Harris, your group has done a fantastic job, absolutely amazing job. We have a great group that works together on the WhatsApp. I had to put this thing in here about sometimes the comments are a bit challenging. Thoda kabhi, huh? And thank you for designing the website. So this is last week. I mean, I just wanted to let you know, I read the Washington Post. So this is beautiful. It says, in politics, talk with your money, not your mouth. And the reason I put this in here is my final slides is this is very important. So Omar Farouk's son Mustafa, who's he calls me dad also. We've seen them grow in front of our eyes. He was the past president of NCCM, our organization, the Islamic organization. They do a fantastic job. You can't read that at the bottom, because I know all of you don't have binoculars today, so I did the next best thing. I enlarged it for you. And if you don't want to read the whole thing, just read what is underlined. And I'm going to let it sink in. You know what it says there? Expressed or attempted to establish an argument based on an opinion on a religious text. Upar dekh lo. You know what that means? That means that if there is something in your religious text that is anti-Semitic, this was going to ask that that be removed. And NCCM and all of them did a great job, and they pulled it off, so it didn't go for a vote. It didn't go for a vote now. I mean, it can go for a vote. Somebody else can put something like this. I'm going to stop here. I want to thank you for your attention, and thank you for coming here. Thank you very much.